In this video, I am sharing the significance of studying modern gurus. And so, what is a guru? A guru is essentially a mirror of God. And, we live in a Christian society, so people generally understand best with Christian vocabulary. So, it's essentially being the Son of God. And it's S-U-N, not S-O-N, meaning they are the shining light of God. There is no ego. They are in pure consciousness. And so when you are with these gurus, it shines a light on yourself and it gives you a glimpse into the divine. And so these gurus can work miracles. They can be seen at multiple places at one time. They can have appearances, the physical manifestation of their body after death. They could have a bag and reach into that bag and pick out food that's manifesting out of thin air. They can walk on water. And so if Jesus Christ was real, and there are people who have stories of him, they made the Bible, these gurus are basically modern day Jesus Christ. And so people like gurus like Maharaji, who Ram Dass wrote about, or there's Yogananda, who wrote about his guru, Sri Yukteswar. I think I said that correctly. And then his guru's guru, which was Mahasaya, Sri Yukteswar, and then Lahiri Mahasaya. And then there's some people consider Osho to be enlightened, but I'm not sure. And he doesn't seem to have any stories of his gurus. The thing is with Ram Dass isn't enlightened, but he had an enlightened teacher, Maharaji. And then Yogananda had his gurus. And so these gurus were alive in the 1900s, and Ram Dass only died, I think, in 2019. And so there are first-hand testimonies of people who have met these gurus, and they have wrote many stories of these gurus. So these gurus are essentially on the same exact level as Jesus Christ. Only difference is they existed in the 1900s. They were alive recently, and there's people who are still alive who met them. And Ram Dass is a first-hand testimony. It's not translated by other people. It's not in different languages. It's real stories. And so we have the ancient classical texts like the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, all this. But what's even better now is modern stories that are pure. It's not mythology. It's not scripture. These are real stories of living beings with direct reports, direct accounts, direct witnesses. And so it is very important that we study these gurus and meditate on their wisdom. It's essential. Every single person needs to go through these stories and learn about these gurus. Our culture cannot be based on unreliable stories from several thousand years ago that has been jumbled up and misunderstood and taken out of context and changed over time. We have pure, original information now. So the first thing I recommend would be read through Be Here Now by Ram Dass. Then once you read through that, then you can either read Be Love Now, or you can read The Miracle of Love. And these books, you're going to meditate on them. Be Here Now is just an introduction. Be Love Now and Miracle of Love, you should really meditate on these. You could also start with the book Autobiography of a Yogi. These books will initiate you into the spiritual path. This isn't New Age spirituality, which is unclear and full of marketing tactics, and it's unpure. This is the real deal. You don't have to rely on ancient books. We have, we have modern gurus. And so I'm not talking about a quote guru, someone who claims to be a teacher, or a real guru is someone who has finished. They have arrived. They are fully enlightened. how many enlightened people exist? How many enlightened people are alive right now? From my understanding, I would have to guess anywhere between 5 and 50 are alive right now. That's my guess. And none of them are known by the people. Except for like maybe Maharaji is known by the people on a very niche, in a very niche community. People know about Maharaji, but he died like in the 70s, I think. And so, well, they say he didn't die, he just left his body. So I'm sharing this video in order to tell you guys that if you want pure information on what God is, who God is, and the perfected state of consciousness, the highest moral, the highest ethical, the highest perceptive qualities that we can develop in ourselves, you need to study these gurus. And so these are real stories of real beings who existed recently, and it's not been passed down. There's been no game of telephone. It's direct experience. And so it's extremely important that people are applying meditation to their lives, and they learn how to meditate properly and apply these clarity exercises and optimize their lifestyles. And essentially, in our culture, there needs to be a common study of gurus. Even if you don't really change a lot about your life and you're still going to do what you're going to do, having this knowledge of these enlightened beings helps you to have more clarity on your path. You know what you're actually looking for. You know what you're working towards. It gives you the light at the end of the tunnel. It gives you something to strive towards. Before you had a guru, you are living blindly. You don't even know what you want. You don't even know why you want. Okay, so you might think you want something, you don't know why you want it, and you don't actually know what you should want. And so you're just drifting aimlessly, chasing whatever you're chasing and not actually knowing the final destination. Studying gurus gives you the final destination. It shows you what you're working towards. And so I just wanted to encourage you to read Be Here Now by Ram Dass. Start studying these gurus. Yogananda, Maharaji, through Be Here Now, through Ram Dass. And I want to clarify, I'm not talking about watching or reading these new age books of some random person who owns a yoga studio, or some random scientist who's talking about something, or someone who's doing this out of a hobby. I'm not saying to read books written by people who are doing this out of a hobby. I'm saying to read books of stories of real gurus. Not someone who meditated for 10 years and they want to share with you what they learned. I am talking about people who have witnessed the perfected states of consciousness. And so, of course, there's still times to read layman's books from normal people, but the foundation needs to be the gurus. Maharaji, Yogananda, Babaji, Sri Yukteswar, what was it? Lahiri Mahasaya, these people. And maybe Osho. And something that's very important is that you don't just have your first reaction when you listen to them. Whenever you have something that triggers you or is interesting, meditate on it in order to understand the deeper essence of it. You might watch one of these videos and at first you think something negative about it. You should meditate on it until you feel something different than what you originally felt. You might not even feel something negative about it, but it might just not click for you. And so every single thing that these people are saying, you should meditate on them and try to understand it and absorb the deeper essence of it. And so I just wanted to draw the parallel of, let's say Luke, John, whoever, they met Jesus and they wrote their stories. And then their stories were filtered out and retranslated into a different language and passed down over thousands of years. Now we have the Bible that we have today. And I don't even know if John was a real person or Luke or all these people. I don't even trust the stories at all, to be honest. But they may be real, they may be valid to some extent, but I don't believe them to still be pure. But for example, Be Here Now, Be Loved Now, all of Ram Dass's books, Yogananda's books, these are direct accounts of gurus. Essentially the exact same thing as Jesus Christ, except for today. And to be honest, I don't think the crucifixion, I don't believe in being saved. So the crucifixion saving you from hell is, I believe, a modern brainwash. It's fear-based belief. And so I don't believe in eternal hell or eternal heaven. Therefore, I don't believe in being saved. Therefore, I don't believe that you have to have faith in Jesus Christ as the only enlightened being. There are other enlightened beings too, and you can become enlightened also. But they say you're not going to become enlightened in one lifetime, and it takes thousands of lifetimes. And if you have access to this information now, you can start working towards it. You can start meditating and following the spiritual practices and slowly start making progress. And so one thing I also would like to say is, one common feature of a very highly realized being is that they remember being born and they carry their memory throughout childhood. The reason this is possible for highly realized beings is because their consciousness is much more pure than the average person's, and they have so much more clarity that they almost maintain their identity throughout lifetimes. When someone is very unconscious, they don't remember being born, they don't remember being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Their memory starts only after a certain age. And these very highly realized beings maintain their memory. And when you become enlightened, then you remember all your lifetimes and you know everything, essentially. And it's not just about knowing everything like it's a fact to remember. It's about being in the perfect alignment to where you can read the energy and understand everything because you have perfect perception, perfect clarity, no distraction, no illusion. And so Yogananda is one of those people where he remembers being born. Same with Ajanas Wonderplanets. And so these are very highly realized beings. Is Yogananda fully enlightened? People say he is. When Yogananda left his body didn't even start decomposing for something like 2 weeks, and this was scientifically documented. The scientist was like, this is a very unique case, very fascinating. Something is different about this person. His body did not start decaying for weeks. It maintained signs of life and didn't actually look dead, even though the soul was no longer in the body. And so people say that he became enlightened at that moment and they left his body, and it was very prophetic, the moment that happened, like it was predicted. And so I have most of my experience from Maharaji, lots of respect for Yogananda, and I'm getting more into his work, and a little bit of experience with Osho, not a lot, just scratch the surface of his stuff. And there's still some question marks with some of Osho stuff, not fully for sure. Yogananda I have a lot more faith in, but I'm still learning about him. But I do believe he's a good person. Is he fully enlightened? Maybe, maybe not. I can't confirm, but Maharaji for sure. And so you need to start your study of gurus. And this is the purest source of information. There's blessings in these books. These books contain blessings where if you read these books with sincerity and you have faith and you're devoted to this, you will receive blessings. There's like secret blessings inside even if you're reading the book on a computer screen, there are still blessings in the messages. And so I am just encouraging you guys to go through this. This is something that is absolutely necessary. Excuse me. This is absolutely necessary to be understood and integrated into the community. So I'll leave the video at that.